Should the United States bail out Europe? No. That's what we'll talk about at lunch today. Hope you're having a nice lunch. Europe could solve its own sovereign debt crisis very easily. All it would have to do is for Germany and France and Britain to stand up and say, we will be responsible for the debts of Greece and Italy and Spain and Portugal. It would go away. Nobody would challenge the German bank for repudiating its debt. Nobody would. But they won't do it because politically they can't sell it to their population. So they have a backup plan. Ask us for money. Have us bail them out. That's right. Now, they don't call it U.S. bailout because they know that would create a storm. They call it an IMF bailout, the International Monetary Fund. So the European leaders are busy crafting a deal for the IMF to guarantee $1.3 trillion of sovereign European debt. But you read down to the small print, and the United States is liable for 17% of that money. That's our contribution to the IMF. We would be on the hook for $200 billion to bail out those southern European countries when Europe has the ability to do it, and they just are unwilling to do it, so they're asking us to do it instead. This is the most outrageous thing of all. And Congress need not be consulted. The administration has the right to pledge money to the IMF because theoretically, just like with Fannie Mae, they're not giving them money, they're just guaranteeing a debt. But everybody knows that Greece is going to default. And when they default, that guarantee gets called, and then we automatically give the IMF the money without Congress appropriating it. It'll be like a massive TARP bailout, but for Europe instead of for the United States, and doing something the Europeans are perfectly capable of doing for themselves, but politically unwilling to do so. Well, it is crucial that Congress pass legislation barring the United States from intervening in this, and specifically demanding that the United States veto, we have a veto power, veto the IMF involvement in the European situation, unless it be done with no contribution required from the United States. Now, there's a bipartisan group working on this in Congress, in both the House and the Senate, pushing this legislation. And Obama, of course, is against it. He loves spending money. He's an equal opportunity spendthrift. And what does he care if he piles another $200 billion on the United States national debt? But it's very, very important that we all petition Congress to get them to act immediately on this before Obama gives away the store by letting the IMF approve this deal. And the IMF action is expected in the next week or two. So we have a petition right now on our site, and sign it, but give us your hard address and your e-address so we can direct it to your congressman and your 2 senators about this bill. Our petitions, have been extraordinarily effective, not only on local issues like stopping funding of the Ground Zero Mosque, but on a whole host of issues, we've really been able to be influential. For example, the cutoff of direct U.S. aid to the Palestinians is working its way through Congress and probably is going to happen. We collected, I think, 50,000 signatures for that. So these petitions really work, particularly because we control the Republican House. The Republicans control the House. And what will happen then is when the House passes it, the Senate can't not pass it because they can't actually be in the position of voting for a $200 billion bailout of Europe. And then Obama sort of has to sign it because he can't be in that position. As long as it doesn't reach the level of a vote, they can go ahead and make that deal. But the minute the House passes it, it gets up to a level where the Senate and Obama get embarrassed into acting. So please, please, please sign this petition and encourage all your friends to forward it all over the place. Let's get them 100,000 signatures demanding that the United States not bail out Europe in this stuff. This is an isolationism. This is just sense. If the Germans couldn't bail them out, okay, but Germany can, and they ought to. Now, speaking of bailouts, my dog could use one. Dubs Goes to Washington is this wonderful book for children. It makes a fantastic Christmas present, and it's aimed really at young patriots. For example, we have the statue of Thomas Jefferson and Dubs. These statues are drawn, these drawing is exactly to scale. That's how they would look. And all men are created equal, Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence's most famous quote. If people are equal, can it possibly be that dogs are too, especially me? So it's a way that your children and grandchildren can really get into this and really become young patriots. It's pretty much the only children's book that does that. And it's not in bookstores, but it's available at dickmorris.com and amazon.com. So go buy one for your kids. But don't forget to sign that petition. Just click right here on the page and do that. We really need your help, and forward it to all your family and friends. We got to act fast on this one. Thanks.